this is Judy Ann Scheidler, and I would like to welcome you back to At Home in Bethel Park. Today we have the privilege of having our brand new volunteer fire company chief, David Gerber, with us to talk about chimney safety, fire safety, and furnace safety. Chief Gerber, thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
How do you like being a fireman?
I like it. I've been doing this now for 15 years. I started over in South Park in Library, and about 9 years ago moved here into Bethel Park, and have been here ever since. I'm happy here. I grew up here in Bethel Park, so.
How many years?
I am 39. I'm born and raised here.
Okay, so, but years 19 about on the fire department, one or another, somewhere
15 altogether,
15?
yeah. We've been 15 altogether.
You've gone through a lot of Christmas seasons.
Yes.
You've seen a lot of problems.
Correct.
And probably a lot of heartache with the problems.
Yeah, wintertime always seems to produce more problems as far as the fire department goes, between carbon monoxide, fires, people trying to heat their homes and stuff. That always tends to give a little more excitement to our world.
Last week there was a story about a family that had been taken to the hospital with carbon monoxide poisoning. And this morning, whenever I was looking over some material, I saw that there's actually been 3 separate incidences just since the end of October, when the heating season started back up.
Yeah, unfortunately, like I said, this time of year tends to be a bad time of year. People start using their furnaces to heat their homes and stuff to keep everybody warm. We recommend that you have your furnace checked once a year by a heating and cooling company. They'll come in, check everything over. It doesn't take much. Nothing has to happen to it. Stuff will happen in the heat exchanger where there'll be a crack. Things aren't quite burning right. Carbon monoxide is an odorless, tasteless gas. You won't even know it's there. It'll give you some simple signs as far as being nauseous, not feeling well, kind of like feeling like you're having the flu and stuff.
Right. And then
it'll
lose
make you sick.
consciousness.
Yeah, and if it gets bad enough, you can lose consciousness and it will kill you.
Didn't we have a family here in Bethel Park that actually did? I think it was they left a car running in their garage as
Correct.
opposed to the...
We've had several carbon monoxide incidents where people have, left their car running. Like it says, any kind of gas appliance you have in your house, hot water heater, stove, your furnace, even gas logs and stuff for your fireplace, if they're not burning right, if they're not cleaned and maintained properly, can give you a problem and make you very sick, if not kill you.
I have, in my line of work, seen people who have turned on their stove to augment their heating system, and that's worse than using a bad fireplace. That's not vented at all.
Correct, yeah, and you know what? By doing that, people will put a pot of hot water on the stove, boil. It doesn't take much to fall asleep while that's going on. You forget about it because you're not really cooking or anything. The water will boil hot, the pot will get hot, melt, and it can cause more than just a carbon monoxide incident. It can cause a serious fire in your home.
Oh, yeah.
And we have had that. I believe it was just last year that we had one down by Washington Junction in that area that happened too.
And you know, there's so many easy things to remember to keep your house safe.
Correct.
But this is the Christmas season, and we all have so much on our minds.
Yes.
Do you see people who normally are more even-keeled sometimes just sleeping up and just not even realizing it?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, it can happen to anybody. I know I'll go to the council meetings here upstairs on the Monday night for the first Monday of the month and give fire prevention tips and stuff, and my wife likes to text message me as I'm leaving. Hey, when was the last time you changed the batteries in our smoke detector? Things along those lines. It happens to everybody, including us as firemen. You know, things happen.
I'm adding you to my mailing list to send you a twice-a-year notice when we change the clocks, change your batteries.
Change the batteries, all that stuff.
I'm going to send you a mailing. The carbon monoxide, though, I was recently involved in a house sale
Okay.
where somebody failed to disclose that there was a leak with their heat exchanger. They didn't think that it was a problem because somebody didn't detect carbon monoxide with a CO detector that was upstairs. Unfortunately, it was a problem. A HVAC guy had physically identified the crack. Do people have to be careful with their CO detectors? Do they malfunction like smoke detectors? Are they?
Absolutely. In fact, we recommend that you buy a carbon monoxide detector. The fire department we will recommend, if we come out to your house and talk to you, to buy the type that actually plugs into a wall socket and actually they'll have a battery backup, whether it be a 9-volt battery or there'll be AA batteries in it. I've seen that too. In case the power goes out, it'll keep running. We actually recommend that even with that detector, you replace the detector every 5 years.
Really?
Actually, yeah. Now, smoke detector we'll say 5 to 7. A smoke detector, we actually recommend you every 10 years. So actually, they're a little more fragile than a smoke detector.
I have a girlfriend who thought hers was malfunctioning, and so she unplugged it. She lives here in Bethel Park. And when she told me about this, I sent one of our guys over with one of our CO meters, and he said, oh, plug it back in and get out of the house. Yeah. Do people do this often?
Yeah, we probably run in the area of 50 carbon monoxide calls a year, whether it actually be carbon monoxide. Most time it's a false alarm, whether it's the batteries died because you forgot to change your batteries, the detector's old, a lot of things along those lines. We recommend, like I said, talk to you, we'll check out your house. It's never a problem to call us if your detector's going off. That's what we're here for, and that's what we like to do, is to come out and help you and stuff. We recommend, like I said, we'll come out, check everything, recommend either you replace your detector if it's older than 5. Now, there's normally a label on the back. If you look on the label, that'll have a manufacture date on it, so you can actually see how old it is. I know a lot of times somebody thinks, I just bought that a year or 2 ago, and it's been 7 or 8. Yeah, that's just the way it goes, and we understand that. But
years fly past.
Yes, you can find them in any of the hardware stores. Walmart has them, Home Depot, Lowe's, any of the places like that. You can always go and replace them. They'll have a nice selection for you of all different types. But like I said, we normally recommend the type that you plug into a wall, has a battery backup to it, like I said, just in case the power goes out, things like that.
So the most important things that you think people should know about CO are wood.
It's, as I said, it's odorless and tasteless. You won't know that it's there. We recommend that you put a CO detector in your house. You put it in a common living space. A smoke detector, we recommend you put it up high, like in the hallway, so you can hear it from your bedroom, the living room, that kind of area. As far as the CO, heat rises from the smoke, so the smoke detector you put up high. A CO detector you can put anywhere. Like I said, we recommend you put it on the wall. Normally you plugs along that area or down around your knee level. Like I said, CO it's almost the same weight as air, so it just kind of floats and dissipates throughout the house. So the whole idea is to have it out where you can hear it. If it goes off, like I said, we recommend you call us. Call 833-2000 or 911. It'll get you the police desk here, and it'll get the fire department to come over and check it out.
One of the most, I think, important things to remember, too, is you cannot assume that just because your furnace was fine last year, it's fine this year.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of material strength and usage.
Correct.
And at some point, it fails.
As I said, we recommend that you have the furnace company come out once a year. They'll come out, check your furnace and stuff, and even just because you had the furnace checked, that doesn't mean 3 weeks from now it doesn't have a problem. They can check it. Something happens, it just heats, it overheats, it cracks.
Same as your car.
Yeah, it doesn't mean just because it's checked, if your CO detector goes off, I just had the furnace checked 2 or 3 weeks ago, that doesn't mean that you don't have a problem. So you're better off calling us, having us come out and check. We'll check. It doesn't cost you anything. We'll come out, do what we have to do, make sure you're safe.
Very good, and that's very good advice. And it's nice to know that you're available to help the people in Bethel Park when they run into these problems, instead of, like my dear friend, turning off your CO detector. Now, Another thing that we run into at this season is fireplaces. We all love using our
Yes.
fireplaces, and last month we had somebody come in and talk to us about what he does as a chimney sweep.
Okay.
What do you see as a fireman?
We normally respond to 2 or 3 fireplace calls. Somebody has a problem with their fireplace, whether it be their fireplace, a wood-burning stove, anything along those lines a year, where there's actually fire blowing up out of the chimney. Most of the time it's because they don't have their fireplace checked. They haven't had a chimney sweep come in, clean, and check everything. Once again, just like your furnace, it doesn't, mean anything. You have it checked and stuff. There could always be a crack in it, you know what I mean? Oh, we had it checked last year, that's no problem. That doesn't mean there's not a crack in it this year. And it makes a big mess, because with that problem, it's all concealed up into the walls. If you're not careful, you have a serious problem, and we're going to come over and do what we have to do to take care of it so your house doesn't burn down. So,
Or your neighbors.
Or your neighbor's house, any of those.
Yeah. Now, people, like I said, you're having a little bit of wine. Okay, this is going to be my confession time. I actually had a fire in my dining room.
Okay.
From candles melting down on New Year's Eve. We were all in the living room, and fortunately it was a slate top, so the decorations went up, but nothing else. I will not relay any more of that story. But we're very conscious about these things. We have smoke detectors everywhere, and they didn't go off because it was so immediate to that area. And the candles burned down, and all these lovely decorations we have, they're not really flame retardant.
You're absolutely correct. Just a quick couple stats about candles and stuff. Candles cause an estimated 15,600 fires in residential structures a year, causing 150 deaths and 1,270 injuries. In total, $539 million in estimated direct property damage each year. Most of the time what happens with the candles is, as you said, we'll have it. They're great. My wife likes them. I like them. They put them too close to either a Christmas tree, some decorations. Decorations are all big and fluffy every year at Christmas time, whether you have them on a mantle, wherever. And they're nice. But if you're not careful, they start melting down. They can get real hot. I've been at fires here in Bethel Park where the curtains have blown over them. It happens just enough to catch on fire. You don't happen to be looking at it right away, and if you're not careful or lucky, you have a good fire going in your house real quick. So
yeah, I was surprised that our smoke detectors hadn't gone off, but I remember looking in my front door from my living room and seeing the fire reflecting, and I thought, that's odd. My fireplace isn't on.
Yeah.
And then it dawned on me that it was my dining room.
Yeah.
But it was just that quick. We walked through the dining room with food all the time. It was fine, and then it was there. So I think maybe it was a lesson. We never actually leave the candles on in a room any longer when we're not in it, even if we end up putting them out.
And they make a nice alternative to candles. My wife just found out last year at Christmas time they make the little tea light candles, except it's got a battery in it. And you put it down inside whatever you have it in, and honestly you wouldn't know that it wasn't a candle when it's burning. It makes it a fantastic alternative to candles, and you don't have to worry about falling asleep. Like you said, we all have the candles. It doesn't take much to fall asleep, whatever in the evening. It's long Christmas holidays, you got a long time. It doesn't take much to fall asleep. And
that was 11 years ago, and I still see that. That was a very scary moment. It was a very scary moment for my whole family. There's also people, I have heard stories where they hang their Christmas stockings on the fireplace, and then their stockings go up.
Yeah, that's the traditional. If you look at any of the holiday books or whatever, you'll see the stockings hanging from the fireplace. If you're actually using the fireplace, you don't want to keep anything near the fireplace. You don't want your tree near the fireplace. You don't want the stockings hanging down around the fireplace. It doesn't take much. It just takes one little ember to float out accidentally, not on purpose. The dog walks by, bumps the screen or whatever, and just lets enough out that it starts a fire. And you mentioned just a little fire you had. If anybody's ever had a fire in their home, it's something you'll remember, because it's not a pretty sight, unfortunately, for you.
No, and even without damage, it's scary.
Yeah.
Now, people we all do it. We all see how many Christmas lights we can hang from our roof, and how many, how many lights can I put on that tree before it actually snaps.
Yeah.
What are we doing here besides running up our electric bill? What should we be watching for? How dangerous is this?
Well, Christmas lights aren't bad anymore. They make the smaller lights that don't get quite as warm as the old days. I remember when I say olden days, I remember when I was a kid, we had a live tree and you actually had the regular bulbs that were bigger and got
well,
warm
they're
and
coming
hot
back.
and stuff.
The C9, which are and the C7, right?
Yeah.
They're coming back. They're very popular again.
So we recommend, one, you put the lights on. The number of lights isn't bad. The bigger ones, if they're starting to get hot, I would watch how many you put on. The smaller lights that don't get too warm, what we recommend is you don't want to plug any more than 3 strands in end to end together, coming off the same power cord.
Okay.
Now, I know my mother-in-law likes to tell you she's got 1,500 lights on her tree and stuff, and that's great as long as you have the right number of extension cords going to the tree to power it. Then properly sized extension cords are always a big thing too, so that they don't overheat, and once again you have a problem.
I've seen people using inside extension cords outside, and they tape it over with electrical tape. I see this a lot. A tape it with electrical tape. How bad is that?
We recommend for your lights outside that you use an approved indoor-outdoor extension cord. With that, the ones I've seen it too that you're talking about, it's the simple generic like lamp extension cord in the house that has 3 outlets on the end of it.
Right.
You plug in the one end of it, and they're trying to tape it up so not to let water and stuff in. Most of those are not normally an outdoor extension cord. So we recommend, if you're going to plug in your Christmas lights, most people think, I ain't going to have a problem with any of that stuff. Every year we respond to somebody who has a couple bushes on fire because it snowed, water gets into the electrical part. The extension cords they have, we recommend when you're plugging all that stuff in at Christmas time, make sure you go over the extension cord, make sure there's no cracks in the insulation and stuff. Make sure that there's no any other problems, slices, maybe that your husband used the weed whacker and stuff and accidentally nipped the cord or something. Simple little things like that you don't notice a problem with until it's laying out in the watery, wet snow. And like I said, then you have a problem, and unfortunately you end up seeing us. So.
You see you, yeah. Now, people like to put these displays up on their rooftops these days. They like to get the, up on the rooftop with Santa and the reindeer. What are our issues with? Well, I guess of course weight. I don't think that people ever calculate that there is actually a formula for weight on a roof that involves the weight of snow and the weight of people and the weight of decorations.
Yeah.
So,
to put anything up on your roof, one of the problems, I've never done that, but one of the problems I could see is having it mount on the roof. How are you going to mount it on there? I wouldn't want to worry about putting any kind of holes or anything like that in my roof at home. So
well, that's another thing too.
Yeah, however you're mounting it up there, once again, if you're going to do that, as long as you're safe, check the extension cords, don't have too many things plugged in. Normally on a rooftop you have asphalt shingles, tar shingles or whatever. It just takes a little bit to get those going, and you've never seen a fire like that
What
until
I
you've
was
seen
going
shingles
to ask,
turn.
I would think, in my mind, the lights on the roof would be kind of a big deal as far as a fire hazard possibility.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Like I says, I've never come across anything from the National Fire Administration or any of that kind of stuff telling you not to do that. But if you are going to do it, make sure that, like I said, that you check and make sure that you don't have too many things plugged into one extension cord, and you've checked the extension cord for not having any cracks or breaks in it that may cause sparks that cause a fire.
Okay. Now, what about our artificial Christmas trees? I just read where there was an alert. I don't think that one's it, but I have to go to the internet. You get all this in training. I have to go to the internet. It says that there's some concern with the new trees, that they're coming from overseas and
Yeah, we would
not
recommend
quite
some of the artificial trees you get nowadays have the lights already built in them and stuff. Being that that's an electrical appliance and plugged in, we would recommend that you make sure that it tells you that it's fire resistive, so that it's not going to catch on fire. We mentioned about the decorations on them before tend to catch fire. The tree itself, you want to make sure that it tells you that it's not going to catch fire, not flammable and stuff, or it's going to be, not as easy to catch it on fire. You want to make sure that it's approved by an approved laboratory, being like Underwriters Laboratory. You'll see that on normally the wire coming from the plug into the wall.
Yeah.
It'll tell you that it's approved. It'll tell you that on the box, being that it's been tested by somebody to make sure that it's not a hazard. Because you're right, because you can buy some of that stuff at some of the cheaper dollar stores and things like that. That it's cheaper for a reason. There's a reason it only costs $1 and the normal thing costs $5. You know what I mean?
So there really is a difference between buying the tree at the dollar store and in another store, and the difference is going to be who made it, also who connected it. Now, is there any rule? I don't know what type of receptacle you should be plugging Christmas. Should you be using an ground fault, or should you be using the new AF? Or does it matter really? It's not the kind of wattage.
No, I mean I would make
exterior
sure
lights, of course, but
the exterior lights you want to make sure you have it plugged into. I think the new code says it's got to be ground fault, and all that stuff, just in case something goes on. It kind of gives you two backups between that and your circuit panel and stuff. The biggest thing is just not to have too many, sets plugged in together, and I wouldn't want to plug. Okay, so now we got 5 strands of 3 sets each plugged into the same outlet that, stove and other things are plugged into.
How about 3 extension cords plugged into 1 extension cord?
Yeah, and believe it or not, we see those kind of things too. And a lot of people think that, that's not a problem. They're not going to have an issue, things along those lines. But yeah, actually, you never think it's going to be a problem until it becomes a problem, Yeah. And then you feel bad telling us that that's what happened. If you think and use a little common sense, I think we talked the other day about using a lot of common sense. A lot of things seem simple. You want to make sure that you think about it before you do it, and not afterwards go, man, what was I thinking?
Rushed. Yeah, we are so rushed during this holiday season that sometimes we just don't have time to remember the things that we should be remembering.
Yes.
So, what else would you like to tell us?
Well, a lot of people are still buying normal Christmas trees. I mean, a live Christmas tree, not a normal Christmas tree. When I grew up, we always had a live tree. Now, that's made more of a mess than anything. If you're going to have a live Christmas tree in your house, we recommend a couple different things for you. When you go to buy it, you want to check and make sure that it seems like it's still in good health. It hasn't been cut down for a month before you even buy it.
The needles are moist.
Yeah, the needles are moist.
Is there any other way? Sap?
There could be some sap. The biggest thing is, and you may laugh at this, but if you remember watching at Christmas time the movie The Christmas Story, they go out to buy a Christmas tree, and one of the things they do is pound the tree on the ground, and all the needles fall off. That's a good way to check, is actually pick the tree up, shake it a little bit, see what falls off it.
Oh, okay.
And to check, because like I said, you don't want to buy something that you're going to put in your house for the next 3 or 4 weeks, and it's been cut down for 3 or 4 weeks already. So we recommend that you do that. Always keep it well and full of water. You put it in the tree stand, make sure the tree stand is full of water. I have seen, too, that they recommend you cut the trunk at a 45-degree angle so there's more area to suck the water up into the tree.
You know what the problem is with that?
It doesn't fit your stand, probably, right? Yeah. That's I'm just passing along the stuff that they tell you to do. How many people at Bethel Park do you think that have a live Christmas tree have their tree cut at 45-degree angle?
We tried. But
did you really?
We did try. But every time we try it
just didn't fit, right?
The tree tilts.
That's the way probably most people are. So once you got the tree up, you want to put it away from any kind of heater vents. As we mentioned earlier, the fireplace, anything that's going to get hot, that's going to try to dry the tree out. The more that dries out, the more of a chance you have of having a problem where it could catch on fire, anything along those lines. One of the things we want to recommend is never put live, real candles on a tree.
Oh, my.
That's a definite no-no. That's one of those simple things.
Do people still do that?
I hope not.
Oh, okay. That's a little scary to think that they actually still do that. My grandmother used to tell me horror stories about that. They used to, and then they used to have gas to light their Christmas trees and their lamps, and they'd have the candles going, and she had relayed to me a few horror stories from back in her day. So what else would you like to tell us?
Well, as we mentioned earlier, as far as your Christmas lights, like I said, the big thing is with that, checking your extension cords, make sure there's not too many strands of lights plugged in together, and make sure that if you got 4 extension cords, 5 extension cords, they're not all go into one plug that's got an adapter on it to plug it in 5 different ways. That could be just as dangerous as not having the right extension cord and all. The biggest thing out of all the holiday things is check to make sure that you have a working smoke detector in your house. That's the biggest life safety feature that you can put in your house, is a working smoke detector. We mentioned earlier you put it in a common living area, whether it be the hallway so you can hear it from all your bedrooms. Try not to put it right next to your bathroom so the steam from the shower sets it off and drives you nuts.
Yeah.
But a common, area where all the bedrooms and stuff are in the hallway, somewhere where you can hear it in the living room. Try and put at least one on each floor, more as possible. You want to be able to make sure that you can hear.
The smoke detector, fire detector, they're two different things, aren't they?
Well,
I don't understand the difference. That's why I'm asking. I hear some people buy the fire detectors, and I have smoke detectors, but
basically what a smoke detector is going to do, a smoke detector is going to tell you when there's smoke. It actually has a sensor in it that the smoke goes up past it, the light doesn't cross the path, and it beeps and screams, and that's why you wave it, the smoke goes away.
Okay.
It's working. There's many other detectors you can have. A fire detector can check heat, so to speak. You have heat detectors, you have radiation detectors that can check, they're sensing the heat from the
burning by
the radiant heat and stuff from the actual fire and stuff, and it'll set it off. The smoke detector's fine. You can buy a smoke detector for, I think it's about $10 now. They're not very expensive.
Be smoke before there's going to be fire. Isn't that the old saying?
Yeah, before it senses the heat, you're going to have smoke. Okay. I mean, think about when you burn something on the stove, that before you have the smoke detector up high, it's going to see smoke way before it ever sees fire. If it sees fire up there, you're going to have a bigger problem on. You better just get out of the house and wait for us.
So since it's Christmas, I'm going to ask you, is Santa going to be coming around in the fire trucks?
Actually, no, we are not. We do not have that plan this year, but that is something we are working on. Bethel Park's a very big community for us to get around to everybody's street. We may work on for next year a breakfast with Santa. That's maybe a fundraising
I know
thing
my grandkids would love that.
Yeah, that we are going to talk about and work on and see what we can do. We have taken Santa Claus around a couple different places. We've taken him down to South Park Shops. I believe we've taken him to a couple of the local businesses and stuff around. We've given him a ride and helped him from his sleigh to wherever he had to go. So,
well, our time is up. Chief Gerber, it is my pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you.
And I thank you very much for coming to join us today.
Your
information has been fabulous.
Thank you.
And this is Judy Scheidler from At Home in Bethel Park, thanking you for joining us and wishing you all a blessed and Merry Christmas.